Hey y'all, welcome to the Flash Quotes Podcast, the number one pod for mobile event businesses of all shapes and sizes. I'm joined today by friends and Flash Quotes co-founders Zach Capshaw, Justin Goodhart of Goodhart Coffee. Hey guys. And we have a special guest, one of the few repeat guests, Cynthia from Always Kind Co. in lovely California. Hey Cynthia.
Hey guys.
Thanks for hanging out. You feeling good
Back
vibes?
by
You
popular
feeling
demand.
good?
Yeah.
Thanksgiving tomorrow, 78 in
Beautiful.
California. Just
Beautiful
throwing that
thing.
out there for everyone that's freezing around the country.
Well, your pod with us was one of the most popular listened pods. Everybody loved it and enjoyed it. And I'm sure that was in part, maybe in majority, thanks to your own social media presence and sharing it and passing the word around. So really appreciate that. One place I wanted to start was actually the end of the last podcast. It was kind of a question about what's next for Always Kind Co. and the business. And you said, hey, I really want to create a company that is a place where people really want to work and are excited to work and have good systems. So how's that been going?
I think we're doing good. I mean, all of my baristas love working with us. I know this because they say it all the time. Like, we love our job. I really try really hard to take care of them and just make them feel appreciated because they are I love all of my baristas. We have a great team. And then we've had steady growth. We're moving into a new warehouse. So that's crazy. I feel like we're
That's
just living
huge.
every set that I walk into, there's like boxes, so the goal was December 1st. It's not happening. So hopefully before the year's over, we'll be in the new warehouse.
That'll be huge. And so is that going to unlock like a whole new level of like operational efficiency and I don't know, growth and scale? Like I view that as one of the largest milestones. Obviously, you've been very like financially successful. You sell big events, you do a lot of high ticket stuff, but when I see people transitioning to like a big warehouse where they can fully operationalize as being a big milestone. Does it feel like that to you?
Absolutely. And I feel the need for it now.
Mhm.
Last time I was like, no, we're good where we're at. Now it's like, we need a bigger warehouse. So once we transition into the new warehouse, my business approach has been less events, higher ticket. And year by year, we've done less events, more revenue, and that was intentional. Moving into the new warehouse, we're going to start focusing on volume. So it'll be fun to see how that shifts.
Yeah. Maybe you could give a little background too on Always Kind, just for I think a lot of our audience knows who you are. They follow you on social media. They probably listened to the first podcast, but yeah, maybe just tell us a little bit about your business and what some of those, if you're comfortable sharing, like how many events you've done and things like that, what that looks like and from where you started to where you are now.
So we started August of 2021. I actually came up with the food side of Always Kind while Johnny was battling COVID. I had a lot of time to just like kind of think of things. We started in 2021, $2,000. That was the challenge. What can I do with $2,000? We started with a tap cart. We did amazing cold brew. We were probably the first mobile cart to do matcha on tap and like high quality matcha. It just took off. By month 3 or 4, we had bought our first espresso machine, like moved on to the second cart. And then every other month we just kept growing. And anytime I booked 3 events and I had like no friction booking those events, we would increase our pricing.
What is
So
friction? When you say friction, what is just price pushback or somebody squawking a little bit about it? Okay.
like price pushback, or why is it so expensive, or so and so can do it cheaper. If I would send the invoice and I would get like an immediate pay, I was like, all right, that was an easy one. So every 3 move up. And that's the same strategy that I had with our photography business. So every 3 weddings, I would increase our prices.
Love that. I think
I'm
I've
pretty,
started like,
I'm
go
pretty
ahead.
sure we're like pretty high up in comparison to like other operators in terms of pricing. But I mean, it works for us.
Yeah. So where did you decide to like level off, or when did you decide like, it's at a good spot? Like how is there a certain amount of pushback that you expect? And then you're like, okay, this feels about right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So if let's say I send out 10 proposals and like only would book like 5 of those, I knew like, okay, that's the max. Like this is the sweet spot. If I went higher than that, then I knew my booking rate would drop even more. But 50% was good for me.
Yeah, that's huge. So thinking about your warehouse transition, you said when you first looked at it, was that last year? You were thinking, oh, we don't need this. But then as you're heading into this year, later this year, you made that jump to get a new warehouse. What was going on in your head that made you feel like, hey, we need to get a warehouse? And then maybe a part of that, you just indicated we want to go for volume now, right? Or volume plus high ticket, which I know you've in the first podcast, we're talking about for your lifestyle, trying to keep events manageable. And so it'd be interesting to understand, where your headspace is with growing the events right now. And if you still see that being manageable with more and more events.
Once we have a warehouse, it'll be more manageable. Right now, no, because everything is chaotic. I don't know if this is normal. Justin, you can probably teach me a bit on this. It's chaos right now. No matter how many systems we implement, we're just like bursting at the seams. No matter what I say, what we do, like I always find that there is some sort of chaos. So once we move into this new space, we will have better systems, just better organization, and it'll just make everything flow faster and better.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think I would just reiterate that the way I'm thinking about it now is like you have to have enough space to be able to make sure all of your equipment and supplies has a home so that you can be organized so that you can have operational efficiency. And if if you've got if your business's britches are too small, you're bursting out of there's just not going to be organization or efficiency. So yeah, it is one of the critical components. I'm really excited for you. Are the wheels turning on like, okay, now that we've got this space, like I'm going to put this here and this there, like what are some of the things going through your mind as you're thinking through the organization and layout?
Oh yeah, absolutely. As we toured the facility right away, I was like, okay, this is where machines are going to go. This is where the refrigerator is going to go. This is where the sink's going to go. Like right away, picturing the flow of like, this is where the carts are set up. This is where, every cart has its crate, all the equipment that goes with that cart, and just how to move efficiently in the warehouse to just grab everything that you need in the least amount of time with the less probability of making mistakes. And this just goes back to working in professional kitchens and just the way you move in the kitchen. So I'm applying that same mindset into the warehouse. And then
Maybe you could speak. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, yeah, maybe unpack even more. Like, what are you looking for when you're shopping for a warehouse space? Like, I think you and Justin both, you've done this now. That's a question we get a lot, right? Because people are operating out of their garage. Their business is growing. They can't do it anymore. That they have some not optimal space. But it's also kind of scary and difficult to like find a warehouse in LA, right? In a major city. Like, I think a lot of people are intimidated. Like, what should I expect to pay? How do I find them? Where do I even look? Like, what should I be looking for when I tour it? Maybe you could just talk through, like, for someone who doesn't know what they're doing, how you think about finding a good warehouse if you're ready to take that step.
For us, so I needed a warehouse that was more warehouse space than office space. I didn't even think that was going to be a challenge. Like every other warehouse we've seen, it's more office space. So that was one of the big things. Then close to the freeway, because we do travel a lot, and close to grocery stores. Those were like my main things. And then safety. All of my team, they're pretty young, so safety for me is always like a main thing. Like, are you going to get stabbed by like some person like sleeping in the trash bin? Like it is what it is. So just all of those things were important to me. And then how big is the warehouse space, and do we have a roll up door in the back?
That's exactly what's on my list. You just checked them all off. So for those of you listening, if you do grow to a place where you're considering a warehouse, that is the warehouse checklist right there, very eloquently and concisely put.
What about like terms checklist? Is there anything just in your mind as you're thinking about warehouse terms and the agreement that was a red flag or something you really wanted to get?
So in my family, like there's 8 of us. We're all entrepreneurs. My sisters have like brick and mortars. Some of my other sisters have warehouses. My parents own car dealerships. So that wasn't really intimidating for me. I was looking for 3 years, like annual net, like what is the increase annually? I had some people who wanted to do like 6%, 8%, anything over percent. It was like, we're not doing that. Who's responsible for property taxes at the end of the year? Some people try to sneak property taxes. That again was a no-go. If we're paying for property taxes on your property, I don't even want to look at it. What's another one? Oh, we had one where like we were responsible for any issues with plumbing, electrical, or HVAC on their property. So we said no to that as well.
Yep,
At
those ones
that
were.
point, I would rather just like link up with my family and go buy a warehouse. Go buy a commercial property.
Justin, do you still try and never do longer than a 1-year lease? I know that was a big thing for you for a while.
No, but that's what I did with my first one. Like I was so terrified. I was terrified. So I was like, I'm not gonna like ruin my financial like future over this. Like I don't even know if this is gonna work. I think, Cynthia's in a different spot and it makes a lot of sense, especially because I didn't necessarily think that way when I was opening my Denver warehouse. It was when I was opening my San Francisco warehouse where I was terrified and I was like, I will not do more than a year on that first one. Now I'm much like Cynthia. It's like 2 to 3 years lease with a 2 to 3 year option. And I always push. I mean, the market is changing a little bit, but I always push for like 3.5, ideally 3. 3 is ideal. And I have that on a number of my leases, up to maybe 3.5 to 4% annual rent increases. And I do try to push, because that, by the way, is compounding. So it sounds small, 3.5 to 4, but that compounds every single year. And that can really add up to some surprising numbers over the course of 3 to 6 years. So
Yeah, so that's why we're capping at 3, because I'm pretty sure, I mean, the goal is to outgrow it, right? Outgrow in 2 to 3 years. So everyone that we looked into, 2 years is not like they'll just go on to the next person. So 3 years seems to be the happy medium for all parties involved.
yeah, it depends on your local market for sure. I remember when I was looking in California, it is more competitive. And so, the realtors are like, I want my full commission, first of all. And then the landlords want their security. And then, it did seem like 3 years was the floor for what's really worth considering, at least in those markets. So yeah, it's, sounds like you did great and found a really great spot. I'm excited for you. Maybe at some point I might have to come. We'll have to do mutual like warehouse tours or something. It'll be
I'm
fun.
gonna go over and just see like, what are you doing in here? Your efficient brain. I need to see it in a warehouse.
Yeah, it's cool.
You
But a
dropped
lot of
that
that,
recently. Have you seen the video?
Pretty sure I'm like the number 1 viewer of the podcast.
Nice.
you might
We
be.
appreciate that.
Love to learn from other people. I'm a visual learner. And I mean, I figured out this whole business pretty much on my own. So to have the ability to like, how do you set up your cart? How do you, your warehouse, a day in the life, like all of those things are so comforting to me. I'm like, I can sit there and watch it on repeat for like, because every time I pick something new.
That's
So
awesome.
I loved it.
You also give us some great questions. Like, feel like every time we do like a listener mail, it's usually like 2 or 3 of your questions and then like 1 or 2 from other people. Do you have any, I guess maybe while we're talking about that, do you have any questions or things that we talked about recently from your questions that you want to like unpack more or talk more about?
Well, let me think.
You did one recently about like how to get annual contracts.
Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing until a client brought it up. And I was like, what? I was like, I'm pretty sure Justin knows about this, So I was like, how are you? And I think when I asked in the group, no one knew what I was talking about. So I think a lot of people don't know that there are companies who lock you in for a whole year or 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, those are huge. I think we did a pretty thorough covering of that in the last podcast or a couple podcasts back. So, yeah, definitely very, very fascinating territory. And this year marks the largest annual contract that I've ever gained and also lost because I think they got their budget cut. So that was sad. 5 days a week for a tech company in San Francisco, 8 hours a day. I was like, this is sweet. This is amazing. And then they shut it down early. They told us in September they were going to renew for another year. And then a month later, they cut it immediately. So I still hold out hope they might bring us back when all the office workers throw a fit. But yeah.
How did that go, Cynthia? Were you able to like land that annual contract, or what was the conversation like when it came up?
We're still in talks. So we do service for this one company once every 2 weeks, so 2 times a month. And they brought up the conversation of potentially having us be there 3 times a week. So we're still working through the numbers. They're closing out their budget, and they'll have the new budget numbers for 2026. So once those numbers come up, then we can be more serious about the proposal and all of that and what they have to work with.
Cool. Well, let's jump to social media. You are the czar, the champion of social media, at least relative to some people. Justin, hint, hint.
Yeah,
Actually, no, he's
definitely.
picking it up more.
Relative to
talked
all three
about
of
it-
us, man. What are you talking about? We only got like 500 Instagram followers, and she's rocking like 10K, at least on TikTok. So we all have something to learn here. Yeah.
One, I looked it up, 11.1 TikTok. Nice. Over 5K on Instagram. And you talked about it a bit on the last podcast, but it would be really cool to just jump into it a little bit deeper and understand what's working. Like over the last 6 months, has that still been a good lead generator or just a generator of, social proof for you that's been effective? Also, AI models and different chat bots are starting to reference social media as like a trust signal. And has that come up?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
I've had people call and say, like, we found you through ChatGPT. I've had people say, hey, you did an event for us a couple of years ago. It was probably through an agency or caterer. So my name wasn't in any of the contracts that they signed. So they're like, we reversed search this like cart and your TikTok popped up. I have actually one of my biggest contracts, and they hire us once a month, was through TikTok. She just loved the fact that I share information, like business information, and I'm willing to like teach other people without expecting anything in return. So she's like, yeah, let's book you for a whole year, and you're coming in once a month.
It's
So
incredible.
TikTok works for me. I have a very peculiar gift, which is I'll run full steam and like grow an account to 10,000. And then I'm like, all right, I'm good. 10,000 is where I want to be. I don't need to go past that. Anything above that, it's just gravy, very minimal effort. And the reason I do that is because 10 unlocks a lot of like features in social media. You get pushed out, like with less effort. And if I wanted to monetize, then I can monetize.
Yeah. So you just like skipped over the most interesting part so casually. You're like, I just push hard and get to 10K, and I'm like, okay, what? Like, let's spend the whole rest of the episode talking about what that means, because our TikTok right now has 3 followers. 3. I hope you're one of them.
Single digits.
So yeah, well, how do you sprint hard to get a social media account to 10K followers? Is it just? I mean, I know obviously posting a lot, but like, how do you think about it?
I just show up. I think a lot of the times, and this is how my husband's brain works too, he overthinks content. Like everything has to be like very techy and like, like font across the screen and like sounds and just like super clear video. And it's like, that's going to take how much time? Like how much effort does that take? Whereas like bringing up my phone and like talking about an idea that I have, I can whip that out in like 5 minutes, right? Like idea, film, edit, post, less than 5 minutes. I can do that multiple times a day. And a lot of the times people don't post, especially business owners, because they're like in their head, right? Like, what are people going to think? Is this going to be cringe? But why do you care when you have 3 followers and like 5 people watching it? Like, why does it matter? Post the content, get better. Like with every video that you post, even if it flops, you're going to get better. But if you're constantly posting videos, taking them down because your ego got hurt because like 5 people watched it, like then you learn nothing.
Nice. Yeah, it's like a volume game. And I think a lot of times we can use the desire for like veneer and perfection as an excuse just to not do it. It's like, well, it's not going to be good enough, so I'm just not going to post that or not going to go for it, versus like you said, getting your ego out of the way and just getting content out there.
Yeah, like I have zero feelings about, oh, that's cringe. She's doing that. She shared that on TikTok or Instagram. Like I feel nothing. Like if someone has an opinion about it, I'm like, that's your opinion. Like it does not affect anything about me. But again, I was a content creator for 9 years, so I have really thick skin.
Yeah, we're learning this process, in real time, and you're watching our experimentations on our YouTube channel and our TikTok and Instagram feed. But we, my sister actually helps us with our social media content, and she's a lot better at it than us and encourages us to try stuff that we wouldn't otherwise try. But like last time we were talking to her, she's like, oh yeah, like you got really lucky. Like you said something kind of controversial in this one short, and then a bunch of trolls got in there in the comments. Like that was really lucky because that one cranked up to like 10x the views of all your other stuff. I was like, well, we should take it down. Like people are, someone didn't like what we said. And she's like, no,
Well,
no, no, that's what you
double
want.
down.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, double down. If you have an opinion, it's your opinion. Stick to it. Like double down. Like what the trolls have to say about it, like that's none of your concern.
How do you think about like, do you put the same content on both Instagram and TikTok, or how do you think about like what goes where? It seems like TikTok is better for that, like whip your phone out and just record a quick thing and post it type of content.
Yeah, you're right. TikTok is better for that. So my strategy with Instagram is that's like my visual lookbook, right? This is where a lot of the people who find me, I want the majority of the people who find me, and I know this just based on emails, is we found you now through Google, but we verified you on Instagram. Like we went over there and they're sharing links like, hey, we want this card. Hey, we want something like this. Instagram is like my visual lookbook, but then stories is TikTok 2.0 for me. I'm on Hinge in stories. I do not care. I come on there and I'm talking, I'm sharing, I'm answering questions. And then, yeah, TikTok is where I just post whatever, whenever. If it pops up, it's going on TikTok. And
So
then,
still a lot of the
like this is fun for me. Like I did this for so long and I went on TikTok because I missed just creating content and building. I'm really good at building like small little communities and I missed that. I never thought I'd grow to 10K so fast just talking about my business.
How would somebody, like certainly there's people that aren't going to have a knack for it or not be into it. What would you say is some, I don't know, guiding principles that, hey, you've got a personality or an interest where this social media path can be an effective way to get leads or to talk about your business or to just have this parasocial relationship? Like what would be some qualities of a person, or do you guide everybody to say, hey, social media is a way to do it? Or is it a specific type of person that has that thick skin or is willing to build it up?
Well, it's with everything, right? Like if your feelings get hurt because someone posts a comment on like one of your posts on TikTok, how are you going to respond when someone says, no, we're not interested in like what you have to offer in email and on flash posts? So if that's causing you to have a mental breakdown, like how are you going to do sales? Right? I get told no, like on a daily basis, or you're too expensive, or that doesn't align. Like it's a daily occurrence at this point. So when people ask like, hey, like I'm trying to grow on social media, but I'm not good at it, get good at it. Like you have to learn it. That's just part of being a business owner, or that's just part of like, if you want to grow on social media, because I can't show up to a job and, if someone's like, hey, we need you to like fix that display, I can't stand there and say, well, I'm not good at it. Like my manager's probably going to be like, well, get good or get out. And I mean, I think that's just, again, I'm the oldest of 8 kids. All of my siblings are entrepreneurs. So like my sisters, they're great with social media. They have no problem. My brothers struggle. And I'm like, well, you're good at doing other things that like offer zero value, right? If you can get good at that, you can get good at this.
Yeah.
What the heck is Thanksgiving going to be like? Are you all getting together or what?
Yeah, we get together. It's 8 of us plus their spouses plus 14 grandkids.
Wow.
That's going to be epic. Do you compare your businesses and just see who's the biggest boss?
No.
No?
No, actually my younger sisters are the bigger bosses. Like they're huge.
Nice.
Yeah.
So Cynthia,
Yeah,
I
we're all
think one
just
of the things that also sets you apart is, I think, because of your long history and your family's long history of entrepreneurship and sales, you came into coffee catering day one with the ability to pitch much more effectively. And I feel like I see that over and over again, that people who come in to coffee catering with sales experience grow much quicker than those who only come in with barista experience. And I do think that kind of sales and customer service are some of the biggest differentiators in coffee catering and adjacent industries. From what I've seen, you tend to talk a lot about pitching either on social media, on your website. I know you do kind of some consulting for folks. What do you tell someone who, let's say they're not even that high priced, but they're also not booking that much, or maybe they are, for whatever reason, they're not closing the percentage of inquiries that they really should be? How would you start to talk to them about like, okay, we need to improve your pitching process so you can get that booking rate up and or charge more premium prices?
I think the only reason why I even started talking about pitching was because I kept getting your people who were like, I don't have money for an SEO person. I don't have money for ads. Like, did you have SEO and ads? I'm like, no, I did not have any of that. I grew 100% on social media and by pitching. So, what I tell people about pitching is if you don't have the money for SEO or for ads, like you have to be aggressive. When I first started, I was pitching 50 plus people a week. At this point, I'm like a professional stalker. Like I go on LinkedIn, find a company, find a person, I will find that email, you know?
That's awesome.
But it was a learned skill. Like I had to learn to do that. And then pitching, I knew from day one, I knew who my like my target client was, who my ideal client was. I knew that the person who was going to propose my services to the decision maker was probably going to be a young girl fresh out of college, like a mid-level marketing executive, you know, like a brand, like a beauty brand, a clothing brand. So I knew who my target was. When we were doing weddings, I knew it was a bride. So when I would pitch like I was talking to them at yoga, at Pilates. Like it doesn't have to be this super like professional, like, hi, my name is like, like no one wants to read that, right? Like we're at the point now where if you write like a super formal email, people think it's AI.
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at now. So from day one, I would pitch to them like I was just some gal who ran into them at Pilates or at like their favorite coffee shop, and I would tell them about my business, what I had to offer, forecast events that were like coming up in their pipeline, and ask for the work. And unless someone said, "Hey, don't message me again," I was going to follow up 2 to 3 months later. During the holidays, 2 weeks later, I'm following up.
So you're finding these brands and you know they have some upcoming event. Is that what
Yeah.
I'm hearing? You knew they had an upcoming event, and so you were trying to serve at that specific event.
Yeah. So when we started in August, I knew, hey, the holidays are coming. Everyone's gonna have some sort of event. I want that event. I don't care what it is. I want it. So if you're at a dental office, you're having like a team celebration for the holidays. If you're a brand, you're pushing the end of your budget and you're like, you need to get rid of that budget, right? So you're pushing for activations, you're pushing for retail activations. If you're corporate, like you're going to have some sort of celebration. So just that's how my mindset, like that was the mindset behind my pitching. I would just say, "Hey, I know December's coming. I know you're going to have X, Y, and Z. Like I'd love to be your provider."
Were you primarily pitching over email, or do you use other channels like calling or DMing them on LinkedIn or Instagram?
Like my goal when I pitch is when these people go to bed, they're thinking about the random girl who's like bugging them about work. So I'm calling and emailing, I'm sliding into DMs. And I mean, so far, I haven't had anyone say like don't contact me, like leave me alone.
Yeah. Did
So
you ever watch the show The Office where like Ryan starts that company Whoop or whatever, where it's like you push one button and it like sends a tweet, an Instagram DM, a fax, an email, a phone call, like all simultaneously to them. That's what I'm picturing right now.
I
They
mean,
can't.
when I started, I sent out a video to every single person I had come into contact before. And just like I told them about what I was doing, that I was leaving photography and content creating. And this was like my new business. And I wanted like, if you have work to offer, I want it. And that's how we got Anthropology. Like that was like our big first brand. And we still do, like every year, we still do work for that store at that mall, and now we do like a bunch of events for stores at that mall.
What is like the call to action in your pitch? Or, like it sounds like, the copy is like, okay, you're just friends at the yoga class, but then are you attaching like links or brochures or pictures, or how do you kind of back it up as social proof?
I attach everything on there. So when the person opens the email, I don't want them to leave to go look for me. You want my website? It's right there. You want social proof? It's right there. You need a capabilities deck? Is right there. You need a service deck? Is right there. Like you are not leaving that email without knowing who I am or what our work looks like.
I've got to see an
People will
example.
come back.
A little
They
aggressive.
No, it's awesome. Do you want a sales job? Are you on the market? Can we hire you?
We
I
do need a
mean, I've
flashcode
been in sales
salesperson.
my whole life. I've been in
Y-
sales
y-
since I was in fourth grade.
I know, Cynthia. It's not as easy as you make it sound.
That's just how my
You're
brain
making it
is.
sound so easy, like everybody should just know this stuff. This is crazy. I mean, it's awesome.
That's how I feel when Justin talks about systems and like tinkering with his cart. I'm like, he makes it sound so easy, but that's not how my
Yeah, yeah. And was there one recently where you were walking around and maybe you saw at this store, you like saw this brochure that they're having this event. What happened next?
we were walking in downtown Pasadena, and I saw that this brand was opening a store in like a pop-up in Pasadena. So immediately when I saw that, I was like, if they're popping up in Pasadena, they're popping up in all the other major cities. So I figured like just backtrack. I was like, okay, this is the brand. Who's working with them? I started looking everywhere. Finally found someone who I was like, oh, they might be the person who's like doing these activations for this brand. And I knew that because the product they were releasing was so big, the budgets were going to be huge for all of these activations. So I found that they were going to have like a huge pop-up at a mall in San Diego. So I reached out to them, and it just happened. I called, I emailed, and I didn't hear anything back. Random Wednesday, and I remember this because I had my daughter with me. We're taking her to the Luna Grill, and my phone rang, and I don't ever answer my phone. It's really bad, but I usually end up returning the call because I'm usually handling a child. I picked up the phone, and he's like, hey, I'm the guy you've been emailing and like messaging. He's like, we actually need. So he explained what he needed. We had less than 7 days to do like a fully branded, fully everything, 10 to 8 p.m. activation at this mall. We were going to be in the center of the mall. He's like, we're going to have the product there. It's going to attract thousands of people. And it did. It was huge. But it ended up being like $21,000 event for us for 2 days of work. Yeah. So from
It's
calling
incredible.
and pitching it to being really annoying. Like I will be annoying for
For
work.
20K. Yeah, heck
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Then from that event, we did that event. They were fascinated. They're like, we're gonna need you next week. Can you come next weekend? And then they just continue to book us.
What are you pitching, or how do you frame like the value or the benefit that you're providing? Because I think you're a little bit different from a lot of coffee caterers in that you position yourself more as like a brand activation service, and you have all these different ways to do that. So I'm just curious what are you telling them, or how are you positioning the benefit to them in your pitch?
Just really secure in what we do. And I let them know like we're really good at what we do. And when you hire us, you just turn off your brain to that part of your event. As long as you give me the information that I need, we will execute.
Yeah. So
Like I
what you
just
do, yeah, I mean, what are you telling them that you do though? It's like we make sure that everyone who's attending this event has an amazing time. We make sure that like they know that your brand is awesome, or like how do you frame that?
we let them know we're hospitality forward. So that is even with my team. Like we're not serving coffee, we're not serving whatever it is that they hired us to serve. Like hospitality is the number one thing. Like you show up to every event and you're there to serve, you're there to wow, you're there to just give customers and the host like an amazing experience. So that's what we push for. Then any branded asset like we can do in-house, so we have a really fast turnover. You need a fully branded anything, I can have it ready for you in 24 hours.
Whoa. Do you have like a huge commercial vinyl, I don't know, some sort of in-house printer to do
Yeah,
all that?
a
That's
large
awesome.
format printer. Yeah, we have one.
That's really
Yeah.
cool.
And then my sister owns a production company. So if I need builders, if I need anything, I'm just like, hey dude, I need this done like in 24 hours.
Yeah.
Wow. That's cool.
The sales thing could just come so naturally to you. So that's why I was asking those questions, because I think a lot of people say like lead with like, hey, like we make great coffee, but you understand like that's not really what you're selling. What you're selling is, hey, I make your event awesome. Just hire me and your event will be awesome. That's all you have to do.
Yeah. This is what I tell people. Because I do some consulting. A lot of times they're like, my drinks are great. I'm like, yeah, that's awesome. But whoever is hiring you in catering has never tasted your drinks. Like 99.9% of the time, they haven't tasted your drinks. They want to see how quick are you to like respond to my, like my lead? Are you communicating well with me? Are you making me feel safe? Like I'm paying you all this money. Are you making me feel like, hey, like I'm good. I just paid you all this money. Like you're going to take care of me. Or are you leaving me wondering like, are these people legit? Like, am I getting gypped for this money? So from day one, it's like, company, we're taking care of that person. We're making them feel secure in their decision to work with us. When we show up to the event, everything's aligned, everything's aesthetic, because that's what my clients care about. Everything's aesthetic. Our team is wowing whoever is there. And then amazing coffee just happens to be the cherry on top.
It's a good time to be cringe. This podcast is supported in full by Flash Quotes. If you'd like to join Flash Quotes and make sure your leads feel cared for at the level that Always Kind, Good Heart Coffee, and many others insist, jump on at flashquotes.com and book a demo with us. We'll hang out. I was curious, just jumping back to the activations. One thing that we've talked about a lot is that you find yourself almost selling or educating somebody on an espresso bar or a photo booth, like these services, as you're competing against them not knowing about it, not necessarily directly competing with a whole host of espresso bars or coffee carts that might otherwise be there. Have you found that as you've reached out to these pop-ups or these brand activations? Like, are they thinking already, hey, we want to have an espresso bar catered experience here, or is it new to them? Like, oh wow, that would be a really cool way to showcase our brand and, delight our customers.
I feel like it's become industry standard at this point. If
Okay.
a brand is spending money on a pop-up and people are showing up for it, it's pretty much expected. Like if we're lining up to like see your new product drop or, get a goodie bag from you, there has to be some sort of like food component, whether it's like ice cream or coffee, or in the summer. In the summer, for a second, we were matcha carts, not coffee carts. Like every other cart was matcha. So it's pretty standard at this point. Agencies and brands know now, like, hey, we're gonna do this. We need to have this component to it.
Gotcha. Cool. And as you think about the lead flow coming in, generally people seem to have a bias towards these bigger brands or corporate businesses. They've got larger budgets, it's bigger events. Are you kind of pivoting to the event types that you focus on? It seemed like you had kind of a focus on weddings early on. Is that still a big part of your business and the journey, or do you have a different
No,
mix?
if we've done 10 weddings all of 2025, that's going to be a lot. Like, I don't know the exact number, but I think in the summer, I think we did 2 all summer. And spring and summer tends to be like wedding season. When we move into the new warehouse, we'll pivot again and do focus on like weddings again and building those relationships with like our old venues and our old clients, like planners and stuff. I run the sales part of our business. Like I have an assistant, but I dropped the ball on that.
With the new warehouse and the desire to increase events, are you thinking about like softening the prices for like bringing them down for certain event types to get
Yeah.
that booking rate up? Is that part of the
Yeah, yeah.
strategy?
Yeah, so for corporate or like personal parties, we'll have a different pricing like strategy for them. Because usually when I'm dealing with a bride, I'm usually just dealing with the bride or with the planner. When you're dealing with an agency, it's you and maybe the assistant, and then like 5 to like 10 of them on like one email. The email communication is intense. I should start billing just for the email communication that takes place behind a lot of these events. It's a lot and it's very high stakes. It's not very forgiving. And it's because we all have a boss, right? Like if an agency hires us, they have to like report back to the brand. If the brand hires us, they have to report back to like finance or whatever, whoever's paying for this. So it's very high stakes and it's very stressful. So when people say like, we want to get into brands, I'm like, do you want to get into brands?
Mhm.
I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah, it's one thing to offer custom branding and just slap a logo up on your cart or on your latte printer. But I think maybe you're also talking specifically about like retail activations. Those, I think, at least in my understanding, that's where like this branded piece gets very intense, because these are consumer facing brands. Their brand is everything to them. Their physical brick and mortar stores are immaculately curated, and they want to make sure that you feel like fully integrated into their brand and their physical space. And yeah, I think the retail activations can be pretty intense with that stuff.
Yeah, and the pop-ups too. Like, you know, you have a client spending $500,000 to spend a week at the Grove. If you're doing, we just did matcha for a client. If you're doing matcha, like every part of that, like your scope of that activation has to be perfect, right? Like, what does the cart look like? What does the client feel when they come up to the bar? Are you like, you want some matcha? You know? Or are you like, hey, welcome. Are you having a good time? Like, what can I get you? All of those things are like, they're huge. They make a big impact.
Yeah. Well, one thing, as you get your warehouse up and running, maybe start branching out into different event types again, wedding and all of that. While it's on my mind, I do want to mention, I think here in the next, whatever it may be, few weeks, we're going to be launching the ability for you to have different quote templates, kind of like you said, you've got your different portfolio of different, photos per event type. We're going to be launching that. So when you do get back into weddings, you can send them the wedding quote with all wedding photos. When you send a brand activation quote, it's your brand activation deck. And so you can have as many of those as you want to make sure when you get those inquiries, you're presenting them with exactly the visuals, the add-ons, the whole thing that they really should be seeing. And so that'll be launching. I don't know, Daniel, do you have, I think are you building that, or Zach? I forget. When's that coming roughly?
It's
You can't
coming
put me
in
on the
next couple
spot.
weeks.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
I mean,
Soon.
yeah, days or weeks.
On the spot is good.
Yeah.
Just rough estimate,
Yeah.
days to a couple weeks, but it's coming soon. And so that's going to be really powerful, I think, for you, Cynthia. And, if you're listening to this, I know this is one that a lot of people are excited about, and we're really proud to offer soon. So keep an eye out.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
I wanted to ask you, Cynthia, maybe this is kind of as we wrap up, like about your vision and the future of Always Kind. You mentioned earlier that you signed a 3-year lease, and part of the thinking there is you want to eventually outgrow this new warehouse that you're just moving into. Maybe just talk about like how you're thinking about your growth plan, and are you going to expand? Yeah, you definitely want more events, but are you going to expand what you're offering? Are you going to expand geographically? Like, how are you going to hit your growth goals in the next few years?
We don't plan to expand our offerings, but it is like very in the back of my head to expand into like 2 other cities. But when that happens, I literally want to have our systems to be so easy to duplicate, where it almost feels like here's a box and everything just runs very smoothly. And that box has everything you need to like duplicate whatever is happening at like HQ1.
Yeah. If you were to give yourself a report card now on where you're at, like systematizing the business in that way, like which parts feel like really automated and which parts feel like you got to figure out the playbook there?
Oh my gosh. Sales, we're doing great. Marketing, we're doing great. Like, I still need like a solid system for hiring and vetting. I'm still very much like, oh, you're cool. I'm cool. Like, all right, let's do this, which is not good at all. Like, sometimes I look at what we're doing and the business that we have, and I'm like, it almost feels like when you have a baby and they hand you a baby at the hospital and you're like, I'm supposed to take this home with me and like keep it alive, like I'm responsible for this.
Yeah.
A lot of the times I look at the way I operate, I'm like, this is where like Justin's brain would really come in handy for me. So that for sure. And then once we have the warehouse, like we'll clean up operations a lot more.
Yep. Yeah. You really can't. In many cases, people can't clean up their operations until they have that warehouse. So yeah, that makes sense. I mean, the next 12 months, you'll really be laying the foundation for you to have the ability to take that box, copy and paste it in a new city. So I'm excited. That's a fun journey. That's like what gets me going, and I'm excited to see how that unfolds for you.
I'm
Well, if people
excited
want to find you online and maybe get some of your just passion and sales genius, how do they find you and reach out?
I'm always on Instagram. Like my DMs are always open. Always Kind Co on Instagram, and then Cynthia from Always Kind Co on TikTok.
Do we want to mention as well our upcoming event that we're planning in the summer? next summer?
Yeah. I mean, we're next summer. We've mentioned it a couple times, and you keep your ears out for this. But next summer in Denver, we're going to have a conference for any mobile event business to get together, learn from each other, share stories. And I pressured Cynthia. I twisted her arm right at the beginning of this to say yes to coming to hang out on a panel. So looking forward to it, Cynthia. Should be good.
Yeah, it's
Tell
gonna be cool.
Johnny.
It's at a
And what's that?
You tell John, I was like, I've got your birthday present down already.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
It's going to be a great venue. Of course, there'll be, food, drinks, really cool spot, and some like pre and post activities. Might even get a Good Heart Coffee warehouse tour and stuff. So be a great group of folks. And yeah, thank you for listening to the podcast. Everyone, be sure to rate and review us with 5 stars wherever you're listening. And be sure to give Cynthia a follow. Thank her for her time and knowledge. And if you want, I know she has some cool stuff available, like, her how to batch matcha and, how to pitch better. There are some like assets and things she offers. So
It's just the stuff that people ask for over and over again. It's like, here you go. It's easy. It's affordable. Go grab it.
yeah, that's awesome.
Thanks,
Thank
Cynthia.
you. Great to see you, Cynthia, and we'll see you
Bye.
on TikTok or something.
Bye.
Cheers.